wagon sunroof removal. Gotta put power to these pins to get them to open the roof. So at the sunroof motor, the upper right pin, I just have a battery hooked up here where I have a negative wire and a positive wire to a drill battery. And I'm the very upper right pin, you're touching a -2 with one hand, and while you have the other wire in the other hand, in this instance my other wire is blue. You have the other wire in the other hand. You touch the lower left and lower middle pins together while you're holding the one up there, and that'll reverse the roof one way. Now switch them. Where this blue one was down here touching these two, you put the blue one on the upper right instead, and you put your black one across these two, and that'll make the roof go the other direction. That's how you can move the roof back without getting a socket on this and cranking on this by hand, which takes forever. It's very awkward, it hurts your back, and this plastic usually always breaks off, and then you have no way of undoing this unless you have a 6mm open end wrench, which is fun because you take a 6mm open end wrench and you put it on this brass thing and you turn that, and that's how you open the roof and close the roof by hand. Half turns, no thanks, that would take forever. I mean, that's hundreds of turns just to get the roof open. So the roof is rolled back, whether you did it manually per that gray plastic cranking knob with a ratchet socket, or if you used the battery like I did to power it back. Once the roof is back, you basically have these 3 little white pig clips in here. If you pull down on this, you'll hear them unsnap. You should. I think this one's already unsnapped. So you pop those down, and what you do, you grab once you pop those down, you grab the sunroof and you pull it straight up and up, out through the roof, just the whole panel out. Here's an example of those pins. So as you can see, it's gonna be a little sideways here. Sorry, you have to tilt your head. See that little pin right there? You simply put a screwdriver in there and pop the pin out of that peg, and you have 4 of those along the front edge of the roof. So take out those 4, and now you simply pull the roof headliner thing, I should say, out and up and out of the sunroof. So another shot, now that I got the 4 pegs out, you simply just push down a little bit to get the peg out of the hole. So a slight down, and then start grabbing this and wiggle it. I'm doing this with one hand again, like all my other videos. Sorry, I need a dedicated filmer. Anyways, you keep going with this, and it comes up and out. And I'm wiggling it because it gets caught on here and caught on here, and you're wiggling it. Now you have the headlight out. That's the tube that the sunroof cable tube goes into. And slip the headliner out. Next step again, the pin here and the 2 pins here. I have a positive or negative up here, and then the positive or negative touching these 2 to get the roof to go all the way forwards, and we're going to take off the middle lid. In the car again. Again, this is a junkyard car, so don't think my car is all thrashed like this. Let's take the metal lid off, the actual sunroof itself. Your choice, either take these 2 brass nuts off with like an open end, or the 2 silver ones back there with the socket and extensions. Up to you, either way it takes the roof off. I usually do the brass ones. And by the way, both of these brass are 8mm. And I just have an 8mm little ratcheting open end wrench to get these off. So you do it on this side of the roof. I'm on the driver's side right now, and you take them off on that side too, and then the lid will lift right off the car. Now that you have the 2 nuts gone there and the other 2 on that side, we can now push the roof up. But you're going to notice though, if you push it in the middle, and I'm on a black car, so that roof is actually hot to the touch. If you push it in the middle, sure it comes up, but it only tips up. See that? It doesn't come straight up and out. Reason being, it's caught up right here. You have to pull the roof, tip the roof upwards. Now slide it towards the rear of the car, because you'll see in a second why. It's inside this little track right here. And I'll try to film this with one hand. So essentially I have my hand over here, I'm just pulling. You'll see when I go to pull out of there what's going on in there. See the little white fitting? That white fitting and those two black pads go down in that notch. They go down in that notch and they slide forward and under. Same thing that this side of the roof is caught up on. So if I pull to the back, same thing. The white thing came up and out. Now the roof is out. We're at a point where we got these two nuts here that hold the transport bridge, they call it, on. And then there's these three. These three are the part of the sunroof arms that slide, and these are shaped like an L. That's the lower part of the L. So we're going to do 3 of those, 2 of those, and those other 3 over there. And I think they're also 8mm. So now that I have all those bolts out, I just zipped them off with my handy little socket here. Boom, boom, boom. All the way across. Now that transport bridge will come out from that side. Now you just have the sunroof tube cable, or sunroof cable tube I should say, is all loose now. Now these sunroof arms are free to move. You can see that they're free to move back and forth now. So we're going to go back up top and work them out. Now that we're here, notice that little roller pin. Sorry about all the noise in the background. That little roller pin in there is in that groove. See that? So go ahead and this roller pin up. Same with the other side. Go and get that out of that thing and lift it up and out. Now we're going to work on getting this seal out of here first. It's in a notch right here. Essentially what you do is you grab this bracket with one hand and this arm with the other hand, and you'll notice there's a keyed notch. You have to turn it 90 degrees in order for it to come up and out. Again, you have this arm going into this little pig hole and a bracket. I'm essentially pulling onto the bracket and twisting this arm. This arm is like fiberglass, it's very fragile, so put more twist on this than you do on this. And you twist that to where that little pig in there turns about, I don't know, 30 degrees and unlocks and comes out of there. Sort of like that. Come up and out. So I actually have pressure towards the inside of the car with my left thumb as I'm moving this bracket with my right hand to go up and out like that. Now I'll go to the other side of the car to do this one with 2 hands. Now that both are out, this is out of that little hole right here, you can now take this assembly one side at a time. Just going to be careful with it right here. It's kind of under there, so you just kind of work it out of here. Don't break these arms off no matter what. There you go. So now you have the trays out, and I can flex it some to get it out like this. And there it is. It's out. Back up top, and now this L part is free to slide back and forth like that. We got to get this out of here. Well, the way you get them out of here is you undo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stainless steel screws, and this little chrome strip comes out, and that'll allow us to lift the arm out. As you notice, once I've gotten the 5 screws out, this first little piece comes up and slides out, and you can move the arm up. There's the second piece as well, this little flimsy piece on the inside that will move out of here as well. Now that these two are out of my way, now I can move this thing back and forth. As you can see, there's a notch right here. See the little black felt thing starting to emerge from out of there. So there's a little notch. You move that forwards, but you notice that stops. So why does it stop? It stops because this little roller pin's down there again. So you lift the roller pin out, swing that out of the way. Now we're going to slide the whole thing, you know, you can move back and forth now, until this black thing emerges all the way. So as I move it out, once it clears, then you tilt it up slightly, and the whole arm is out. And the installation would be the opposite. You basically would tilt it down in, make that clear right there, like that. Get that down on that notch, slide it back, and also get this little pig up and out of your way. Slide the whole thing until the pig gets in that little groove, and then go down and then back. And that little one slides in there as well. That one slides inside there. So again, to take it out till it stops, lift up on this, get out of your way, then out until that rear block clears, tip it up, and out. Same thing on the driver's side. I've undone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, something like that. Stainless steel ones. The stainless steel piece comes out, put it aside. That little secondary one comes out. It's caught on that little ski, so you have to kind of move that little ski out of your way, and that piece comes out. Notice the way it goes in, like an L, but with the vertical side towards the outside of the car. And same thing here, you move this arm forward until it stops on that little the little peg right there. That peg was going down inside that groove like that. Get the peg down the groove, up out of the groove, swivel the arm up, move the whole thing forward until that black plastic thing clears, tip it, and out. And again, same thing in installation. If you were to install this, you put this bumper behind this plastic block, angle it down in there, and swivel the arm down. Get this thing lifted up, push it back until that long black felt block goes under that piece. Go back to your little roller pin, put it in that vertical groove, roller pin back in that vertical groove, and down into the groove, and it slides back, and that also slides in. Just like that. Now back to the sunroof motor. Now that we have all the arms out and the sunroof is essentially naked, I'm also going to put the sunroof lid, the metal lid, since I'm not taking it with me, back into the car. I'm just going to place it to cover the opening, just as a courtesy, so other people want to take interior parts of this car, they're not all waterlogged because I left the roof wide open. That's not cool, so I don't operate that way. I'm respectful. So you hold this with a 6mm wrench and undo that. I think it's a 17mm. You undo that nut, and what it does is it unlocks the gears inside there to let go of the sunroof cable, so you can pull the sunroof cable out by yourself. I had a 17 on this nut and a little 6 on the center one to loosen this nut. You don't have to take it off all the way, just loose where it's about to fall off. Now you can go up to the front, and now it allows you to manually grab the sunroof cable just like that and pull it out of the sunroof tube. And I would use gloves or something not to get the grease on your interior. This is a junkyard car, so I don't care if I just keep pulling until that sunroof cable is all the way out. Just like that. It's like 8 feet long, it seems like. I'm gonna keep that one. I'm taking that one home. Next step is to get the sunroof tube, which is that little thing you can see my hands back there tapping on right there, that thing, that sunroof tube, by getting it out of there. And if this was a sedan, this whole motor is pretty much turned vertically. But it's the same concept on the sedan. You have to get your hands in a position to where you can pull this tube towards the outside of the motor. In other words, that copper tube, I'm pulling it towards me, and you'll see it unsnap out of this little holder right like this. Watch. See how it snapped out? I'm pulling it towards me. I'm pulling it towards the white knob, essentially. Now that's out of the way, it's disengaged from the motor now. Same thing with this tube over here. This tube has a black clip, though. That little black clip. I cannot explain how you get off of it. You kind of have to mess with it. That black clip pops off, and that holds this other end of the tube to the motor. Then, after that, we can do the motor itself, which is 1, 2, 3 bolts, and the motor will come out. The only difference between the sunroof motors on the wagons versus the sedans is that the wagon has this different bracket, this black bracket. So essentially, you could take a sedan motor and put it on this wagon bracket using these things and adapt it to it because they're the same exact motor itself. So I'm going to undo those, undo this clip, little black clip right there to get that tube out, and we'll see if the sunroof motor comes out. One sec. What I did on this clip was I took a screwdriver. You don't want to slip forwards because you're going to slip past the tube and way back here and hit the outside of your car, and you're going to have a dent. You're going to have a pucker dent on the outside of your fender. Don't do that. I'm probably going to use plastic next time. Take a plastic tool and push the tube. Oh, there goes the clip. See? Push the tube out some and it wouldn't come out all the way, so I got the screwdriver under the clip on the bottom front and I lifted up on it and it popped it out. Now this sunroof tube is also disengaged from the motor. To get the tube out of here, I did push the tube towards the outside of the car, towards the fender. Motor is out. I lied to myself. There is no taking this off and this off and this off to move this out of the way because there is no third nut. 1, 2 takes it out.